It's a continuum rather than it being a binary. It's not in polarity. The more you're in polarity of like, I am a good person, I'm a kind person, the more likely you're not in wholeness, because polarities are the opposite of wholeness. Wholeness is the holding of the polarities and everything in between. My name is Deb Blum, and this is The Whole Soul Way. It's my signature program that I've been teaching for the past 4 years, and I decided to offer the foundation lessons, exercises, and tools for free on YouTube and all of the major podcast channels. Because I truly believe that the world needs more of us, healed, whole, authentic, and awake. And you know what? I don't want to be a barrier to anyone getting the help that they need. And in fact, I really want to be part of the change. Each lesson builds on the last. So if this is your first time here, make sure that you start at the beginning. This is your invitation. Show up, do the work, and join the movement of souls who are committed to creating a better world, one inner transformation at a time. Let's dive in. We're going to talk about the drip of something, or a drop. Let's use the word drop, okay? I've talked about this in many Voxer messages, lots of client calls, all over the place, sprinkled in, but I wanted to make sure that I had an explicit video about this. In many instances, when we are being good, kind, generous, selfless, we are abandoning ourselves. The invitation that I have for you is to consider the possibility that the exact opposite, let's just say that we're going to use the idea of being disrespectful. The exact opposite of disrespectful is respectful. If we are being respectful to another person, but it comes at the cost of us abandoning ourselves, then it is not coming from the place of wholeness. It's usually coming from the place of some form of people pleasing or trying to get another person to feel a certain way, or to perceive us in a certain way, or to maintain our own perception of ourselves. But it's genuinely coming from a place of self-abandonment in many instances. That is the same with when you're selfless. It's the same with when you're kind. It's the same with when you're helpful. So often we're abandoning ourselves. Now, what we talk about here is coming into wholeness. And if we want to come into wholeness, another word for wholeness is integrity. Another similar word is congruence. We want to feel inside the way we are being outside. So the idea of wholeness is that who we are inside is the same as who we are outside. We are congruent. We are the same. We are in integrity. How we feel is matched with how we act. What we speak is matched with how we feel and we act. It's all congruent. Now, if you are being respectful to another person, but you are in the process disrespecting yourself, then you are not coming from the energy of respect. You're coming from a mishmashed, incongruent place. Same with selflessness. If you are being selfless, but you're feeling resentful and exhausted because you're giving to another person things that you are not giving to yourself and you feel depleted, it's not really coming from the place of integrity and wholeness. So what do? We give ourselves a drop. Picture a little dropper, and you're going to pick up a little bit of disrespect, and you're going to give yourself one little drip. That drop of disrespect is going to then allow you to have enough space in your relationship with the other person to make yourself matter. And you're going to say, wait a second, I matter too. I want to respect myself. I do not want to do this thing while abandoning myself. Now, just one drop will give us the backbone to be able to stand in our own power and say, wait, I matter too. We're not saying I matter more, though maybe you do. But we're not even saying that. We're just saying I matter too. So what it does is it takes us away from this idea that we abandon ourselves for another person. We come to a space of honoring them and us. If I had to make you pick, I'd have you pick yourself over another person, to be honest with you at this point. What I know about any of this is that we become more selfless, the more full our own cup is, the more that we are spilling over with our own love and our own compassion, our own respect for ourselves, our own trust. We will spill over into other people. We won't even have to try. It won't be a strategy. It won't be a coping mechanism. It will be the way we are. So I would always have you choose yourself first in this particular process of your evolution and your transformation. I want you to look at these as energies rather than as like a fixed thing, like respectful, disrespectful. It's energy and it's a continuum. And I've shared that before in the black and white video, is that it's a continuum rather than it being a binary. It's not in polarity. The more you're in polarity of like, I am a good person, I'm a kind person, the more likely you're not in wholeness, because polarities are the opposite of wholeness. Wholeness is the holding of the polarities and everything in between, and the honoring. So do we want to become disrespectful people? Well, maybe at times there'll be a reason why you need to be disrespectful. But mostly what we're looking for you to do is just to honor both, to respect yourself and another at the same time. And so this drop, just one drop, will give you just enough to be able to create the space, like the psychic space, to say, I'm not pushing away the idea of being selfish or disrespectful so far out of my psychic awareness that I can never be it, because if I ever even attempt to be it, then I am a bad person and I won't like myself. I will be in judgment of myself. It opens up the door to say, wait a second, maybe there is a usefulness of these negative characteristics. Maybe, and I don't even consider them to be negative. I just consider them to be available to all of us depending on what our circumstances are. And it's like you're a chef and you're cooking, and you're not going to just put only sweet flavors into everything you do. After a time, you'd be like, ugh, this is just gross. Sometimes you need to add just a little dash of spicy, or a dash of bitter, or a dash of savory. We have to have all of them when we are cooking and making our magnificence of ourselves. So you have to have a little bit of all of it. And that brings our balance into it and makes us yummy and delicious. And if we're abandoning ourselves, first of all, you may think you're yummy and delicious to other people, but they're probably wishing for a broader flavor palette or a broader menu from you. But even if they're not, and they are in their own unconscious mind and they like that you are willing to abandon yourself for them, you can't do it anymore. You need to offer a much more comprehensive menu of you that represents all of who you are. Not just the sweet you, but the complete you, the whole you. And the one last thing I want to say about this, and this is completely unrelated in some ways, but it just came to me and I want to share it, is that there is a point where you may start to notice the ways that you have not allowed other people to be their whole selves. That you have actually been willing to be in relationship with people who have abandoned themselves for you. And you might start to say, oof, I can't do that. I remember I was in relationships with people where I saw that they were abandoning themselves for me. They were doing things for me that I knew that they didn't want to do. And I started to invite them and say, I noticed that you're not really looking like you're really that excited about doing this. Are you sure you want to do it? So I created space for them to find their authentic self. I also had to stop my behaviors that I could feel were the pattern that we were in, where I had a strong opinion on something and then they conceded to it. I have a very strong people pleaser bent in me with female relationships, not so much anymore, but I did. But with my husband, I did in some cases, but in many cases, I was actually very strong and opinionated. I could see where I steamrolled him, and I had to start to say, oof, I don't want to be that way anymore to him. I don't want to treat him in a way where he feels he can't bring his truth to me. I don't want him to feel that he can't have a drop of selfishness because I'm fully embodying selfishness. So see, when you're in energies, you start to see we often play out polarities with each other, right? So if I'm being in the selfless polarity, the other person will be in a more selfish polarity. If I'm in a respectful polarity, we always think, if I'm being respectful to them, why are they not being respectful to me? But if we inhabit an extreme side of respect, like we are so respectful, what's going to happen is we're going to attract more people who are on their polar opposite, which is disrespectful. And we will have people in our life who are disrespectful. And we'll be like, how come we're so respectful and people are disrespectful to me? Why don't people treat me well? it is because we are not dancing in the middle and attracting people who are in a flexible way, like ebbing and flowing with how much respect and disrespect they're giving depending on situations, making sure that they're honoring themselves and others. We're not bringing people in like that. We're attracting people who are our polar opposite. When we have a drop in it, it brings us into a more centered place. We start to attract people who aren't rejecting or resisting. They're not rejecting and resisting. They're not either this or that. They're, oh, I can hold it all, just like you can hold it all. All right. Tell me more about what you think. I always want to know. And if you have any questions, post them below.